highlight reel. I need to start doing these more like actually weekly because, stuff gets crazy and I kind of like, oh, I didn't do the highlight reel. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get to it. So, for those of you that are new to the channel, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Like, share, comment, all that good stuff, because when you do that, that gets the information I'm putting out there out to more people. Somebody can see a story that I'm talking about. Maybe it's a missing person that's been missing for some time. There's no leads. Maybe they're like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, I know something about that. You never know where leads can come from. So it's very important that the subscriptions happen, the sharing happens, the commenting, the liking, even disliking, whatever. Because the more the algorithm is involved, the better it is, and more information that gets out there. So, I was live last night, and I've been battling with COVID all week. Today's the first day I actually feel somewhat human, and I'm on the mend. But you all did not hop on here to hear me talk about COVID. So let's talk about the cases that have come up this week. So the first one I want to talk about is the woman who has been keeping her stepson captive for the last 20 years. What the absolute hell? Because I was reading through this, I heard about this earlier, and I'm like, there's something wrong with this case. But I kid you not, this happened in Connecticut, and a woman has been accused of holding her stepson captive for 20 years. Now, she went to court today, and she has pled not guilty. So we'll see what happens with that. But a little bit of the backstory. So try this again. Kimberly Sullivan, who is 56 years old, was arrested on March 12th after a 32-year-old man who told police he had been held captive for over 20 years. So how they found him, he set fire to the house. And when the firefighters got there, they got him out of there. They said he did this as a desperate bid just to get his freedom. So my question is, where is this dude's father? Where is his mother? I know she's alive, the mom is, and that's, why was nobody ever really looking into this? Like, why was he never seen? Sorry, I got hair in my earbud there. I don't understand this. But he said, the alleged victim, again, because everything's alleged right now until this goes to court and people are found guilty. Hi, Lila. Um, but he told the police that he intentionally started the fire with a lighter and hand sanitizer and printer paper that was in his upstairs room. He said, I wanted my freedom. And in an arrest warrant obtained by, I'm reading this off of CNN, detail years of what the man described as captivity, abuse, and starvation. So when he was found, God, this is awful. When the police arrived, they found the man severely emaciated. Hello, everybody. Weighing just 70 pounds. He's 5'9", and he's 32 years old. So obviously, he was being starved. They said his hair was matted, his teeth were decaying, and he appeared to be dirty and disheveled. I would say so. So, but here's what I don't understand. This woman is being charged with this. She's gone to court and pled not guilty to this. You see the condition of the man that they pulled out of the house. So that tends to give credence to what she's being accused of. Hello, American boy. Why did they allow her bail and to be under like ankle monitoring system? Because this woman is depraved on multiple levels. So I don't understand that at all. I don't get that. I would think they would want to keep her locked away. That's just my personal thought. Um, so digital witnesses have come forward, including friends of Mrs. Sullivan, and said that in 21 years she's known Sullivan. Sullivan has never spoken of a stepson or allowed in the friend in her home. So she was never allowing anybody into the house. She never even talked about this guy. So people didn't even know he even existed. That's It's crazy. I guess my question is why? Um, so this man keeps talking about he paints a picture of life inside the home. He said his confinement began when he was around 11 years old. Say what? I love this when you guys pop and say, "Hey, say this," and I'm like, I am not a single cat lady. No, I'm not. So Bomba Klatz. I'm not sure if I said that right. Anyway, but the guy says he was, began his confinement at the age of 11. He was locked in a storage room with additional locks added over time, surviving each day on just two sandwiches: egg salad, tuna, or peanut butter, and a small amount of water. And by his teenage years, he said he was constrained to his room for 22 to 24 hours a day. And to relieve himself, he devised a makeshift funnel to direct urine out the window using straws, according to an affidavit included with the warrant. That's crazy. Mann's allegations traced back to his early childhood said that by the fourth grade, he was scavenging for food at night, prompting Sullivan to lock him in his room. Eventually, he was removed from school entirely and was only allowed out to complete chores. The man stated it got to a point where the only time he would ever be out of the house once his father died was to let the family dog out in the back of the property, and only for about 1 minute a day, according to the affidavit. So, so it looks like Department of Children and Family Services visited in 2004 over alleged mistreatment went undetected. Um, Police said the home looked clean and lived in, and in January 2024, the man's father died. So, oh my God, his dad was part of this. What on earth? I mean, seriously. His father was part of this. So this goes beyond a whole level of depravity here. Um, I mean, they're saying that he is severely, severely physically jacked up. Like he is looking at a long journey of getting healthy again. I mean, he probably has to have all his teeth removed and probably get dentures. I mean, he has to gain weight. God only knows what type of vitamin deficiencies he has, what that's done to his muscles and his eyes and everything else. Because when you go under severe malnutrition like that, that can affect you long term, muscle development and everything. It's bad. It's very bad. So, like I said, I don't understand how the judge in good conscience could let this woman out even on house arrest. That makes no sense to me whatsoever because I think she's a danger completely, especially to that man. So, I mean, I understand if he's freaking out right now, I would be too. So that's that case. That's insane. Absolutely insane. But in other news, I was talking about this last night. Kamani Latigue, the 13-year-old girl that went missing and has now since been found um, killed in Toledo, Ohio, today would have been her 14th birthday. So the community came out and was laying out balloons and stuffed animals and flowers and whatnot at the basically making a makeshift memorial in front of the house where she was found. The city of Toledo has made it clear that they're going to be tearing down that house because they just don't want that reminder for the neighborhood of what happened to her in that house. Her father is still in the hospital, or the man who let me preface that the man who claimed to be her father, Darnell Jones, is still in the hospital recovering from the gunshots that the police gave him because he tried to go suicide by cop, or I should have said that self deletion by cop, and there's that too. So they have not taken him to court yet where he has pled guilty, not guilty to anything that he's being charged with, but he is definitely being charged in her murder. So there is that. But it's just a sad, sad situation because that girl had a promising life ahead of her. She was playing basketball, she had friends, and he took it all away. And the question is why? I don't know if we'll ever get an answer on that. Now there is some type of interview going around where his current girlfriend had made a statement to the press stating that she knew why um, he did what he did, but I have yet to find it to hear it and find out what that reasoning is. It's just insane. Um, yeah, absolutely insane. And I feel actually I feel horrible for this family, even though all of them have records, all of them have past, all of them may not have been good people, but they were that kid's family. And it goes back to social services failed this child. You know, they absolutely did fail this child by not interceding and doing more on her behalf. You know, we know that the grandmother was being accused of physically abusing her. Um, you know, there's possible some SA abuse going on there, you know, especially with the guy claiming to be her dad. Now we find out he's not her biological father. Who knows how he had access to her in the first place? No telling where that's going to go. And then, interestingly enough, the case that I've talked about ad nauseum since the beginning of this channel for the last year plus, um, Marissa Carmichael. So her family did an interview with Dateline NBC, and I go back to they're changing the story again. Sarah Carmichael, Marissa Carmichael's mother, she and I had talked at length about her daughter's case, like the first few months after Marissa went missing. Now she's saying in Dateline that she said she saw Marissa right before she went out. And she's like, "Hey, you're not dressed for work and you're leaving early. What's going on?" And she said that Marissa told her, "Hey, I'm going to the Mexican restaurant across the street from Waffle House, which is where Marissa was working, and then I'm gonna go to work." Okay, that's new. Because when I talk to Sarah, and most of the time when she's given, in most of the interviews she's given up until this point, she made it clear she didn't know that Marissa wasn't going to work, and she made it clear that she didn't know Marissa was going anywhere before work because she was asleep when Marissa left. Let me say this again. She was asleep when Marissa left, so she had no idea what was going on. So there we go again. Another story, another deviation from what we've been told. Unfortunately, with Marissa's case, I don't think it's ever going to get solved. I also feel that, and again, this is just my opinion. So again, I'm not basing any of this in fact, or I'm basing it on the facts that I've seen, and I'm giving my opinion on that. Let me say that she has had an interesting past. She's messed with a lot of people who are not good people that lived in that criminal underbelly life. And I think she's become a victim of that. That's what I really think. I don't think she's going to be found. And that's upsetting because she has children who want to know where their mother is. And I wish we, like, and when I say we, like myself, anybody else who's been involved, talking about her case, looking into things, doing the searches, all of that, I would love for those children to know what happened to her, where she is. Because right now, they're probably under the impression that mommy doesn't care. And that's not true. I know she cared for her kids a lot. So there's that. Yeah, it's just upsetting. Like I said, between Kimani Latig and that poor guy who got in prison for 20 years at his parents' house. I mean, that's insane. Absolutely insane. Um, yeah, and when I look for these criminal highlights, these events that pop up over the country, it's insane what pops up. Like, here we go. Wife of slain California fire captain arrested on suspicion of murder. Let's see what this is about. Oh, then we've got a South Carolina man, second one, who's chosen to die by firing squad. So apparently that's coming back, and that is making um, a stance on capital punishment. Heart-shaped note found in socks sent to Luigi Mangione, prosecutors say. Go figure on that one. He's a decent looking guy, so I'm sure all the women out there who have a thing for bad boys is probably sending him. God knows what they're sending him. Let's see. So let's see. Suspect was previously convicted in a fatal stabbing of her first spouse in 2000 and served nearly a decade in prison. So this is wife of slain California fire captain arrested on suspicion of murder. So a month after an official with California's Department of Forestry and Fire Protection was found slain at her home, the woman's wife had been arrested in Mexico on suspicion of murder. Okay, I mean, that's what they say. Usually, when someone is killed, the first person you look at is the significant other or family, because they say in criminology that stranger crime is very rare. But anymore, when you see these stories, it seems like it's almost always stranger. It's never family. But in this case, they're looking at the wife. So, but the woman that was arrested in Mexico, the wife, this is the second time that she has been a suspect and accused of killing a spouse of hers. So Yolanda Aljesnik Marodi's arrest came after she was named the prime suspect in the February 17th stabbing death of Captain Rebecca Marodi, 49, in Ramona near San Diego. Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. Olejnik Marodi was previously convicted in the fatal stabbing of her then husband James Joseph Oljesnik, and the Los Angeles Times reported. She pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter after stabbing in 2000 and served nearly a decade in prison. Okay. Why would you openly marry somebody that has got a murder conviction? Riddle me that. That's just poor judgment in my opinion. Because if you killed someone in self-defense, like, hey, a guy broke into my house and tried to kill me and I got him before he got me, that's one thing. But why would you marry somebody? Actually, it's why would you date someone, let alone marry someone who was convicted of killing their spouse? So, yeah. And now she's gone and killed a second person. So maybe they'll keep her locked up this time. Who knows? That's interesting. Let's see what else we got here for this week. No, looks like Luigi Mangione's lawyers trying to get him out, trying to invalidate evidence. I don't see that happening. Um, yeah, like I said, this Mangione guy, I think there's definitely some psychological issues going on with him because he's came from wealth, or he came from a good family, went to the best schools. I mean, he had some health issues with his back, but why did he have to kill the CEO of United Healthcare? That makes no sense. So, everybody's got issues with insurance companies, including myself. Um, it costs too darn much. They don't cover nearly enough, and the co-payments are just ridiculous. I mean, I have three kids, all three of them with health issues. One is autistic with seizures. I got another one with a heart condition, and another one with psychological issues. And that's not including what I've got to deal with myself. I have autoimmune issues, that I inherited from my mother. So I mean, I get it. I get it. You all want stuff to be covered, and it should be that way because we live in a country where we should have better health care than what we do. I don't understand why this is such a huge issue. Um, yeah, I don't get that. So I'm going to make another call here because I've been on this for about 20 minutes. So if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Because, like I said, normally when I'm on here, I'm talking about a little bit more pressing things, and it helps get the information out there to other people. Because I talk about a lot of unsolved cases and even current people just out there, like Amber Alert type issue as well. And that stuff needs to get out there to people because they may have seen something, heard something, know something. And if they do that, then maybe they can report these things, and maybe a case can get solved. Oh, this one actually got me, and it just made me think of some babysitting things I've had to deal with. Kansas babysitter checking for monsters under a kid's bed finds a man hiding under the bed. I mean, that is straight up there out of a stranger, what a stranger calls. That horror movie that came out like in the late 70s, and they redid it in the 2000s with, I think it was Camilla Bell. I think she played the babysitter in that one. Oh my God. So police arrest suspect after sitter shocked to encounter man when trying to show child there was nothing under the bed. Bet that kid was like, I told you so. Wow. Um, so babysitter in Kansas who was asked by the child to check for monsters under their bed was stunned to discover a man hiding there. I bet she was. The shocking incident occurred on March 24th, so this was about 4 days ago, at a property just outside the city of Great Bend in Kansas. When the sitter was seeking to put children to bed, she was looking after, however, one of them was afraid. One kid complained there was a monster under their bed, and when the victim attempted to show the child there was nothing under the bed, she came face to face with the male suspect who was hiding there. That is crazy. So, after an altercation ensued with the babysitter and one child was knocked over in the struggle, the suspect then fled the scene before deputies arrived. After the police got to the property, the victim identified the suspect as Martin Villalobos Jr., 27, who once lived there. So, next morning, deputies spotted him and, after a short chase on foot, caught and arrested him. Well, that's good, because you don't know what his intentions were. So Villalobos was charged with aggravated kidnapping, aggravated burglary, aggravated battery, child endangerment, felony obstruction of law enforcement officer, and violation of a protection from abuse order. He is being held in lieu of a $500,000 bond. So sounds like he had some personal issues with that place. I'm almost wondering if like he knew the mother or something like that. I have no idea, but that's just crazy. I mean, I would never in a million years that. Mm, that's crazy. I mean, how many times you get to say, "Hey, I found a monster in the bed." And the kid's like, "I told you so." Let's see what we got here. No, that's right. I forgot Ruby Frankie was coming back into the news again. She's a weirdo. I don't know how many of you actually watched that. What was it? Eight Passengers series that she did on YouTube forever, being the mommy vlogger. I mean, I don't get that. I don't get how her husband willingly left the house and let those kids suffer like that. I don't get any of that. So yeah, but she's coming back out talking some things. Let's see. Mother killing son after Disneyland trip. I mean, this is just depressing. So depressing. Oh, that's all I got for right now. I mean, everything else is just crazy nonsense. And actually, this is an interesting one. What's this? Man accused of putting gorilla super glue in coworker soda drink at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Hmm. And he did it with intent to harm the person. Wow. It was a woman he did it to. She realized there had been contamination due to the strong chemical smell and taste. And she became ill. Wow. Oh my God. Why would you do that? Well, she knew something was up, and she put in a surveillance camera and caught him doing it. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, they must have major, major issues with each other. Yeah, I don't know why if I would ever do that to somebody. That's crazy. So, all right, well, that's all I got for right now. So next Friday I'll do another weekly highlight. Hopefully I'll have some better stuff to talk about. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. So keep Kamani Latigue and pray for her family and pray for her loved ones that are dealing with this because no child should die like that. It just shouldn't happen. And I hope they stick it to the guy that killed her because that man's a monster. He really is. All right, so this is Rebecca with Red True Crime. I'm going to end this live. As I always say, be weird, be rude, be safe. Be careful out there, everybody. And keep your head on a swivel because you never know who's going to be watching. And yeah, so have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining. And until next time, bye. Oh, before I forget, Monday, I've got my next Mobster Monday profile. That will be on Arnold Rothstein. So it's going to be an interesting, juicy one. And my next Thursday child is going to be da, 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 Walter Collins from California. Some of you may remember actually hearing about his case. They did a movie called The Changeling, and it was about his case. And Angelina Jolie played his mother in that movie. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. It really is because it involves a serial killer and everything else. So, like I said, that's going to be the profile on next Thursday. Will be on Walter Collins from California. So, on that note, goodbye, everyone. Thank you again for tuning in, and be weird, be rude, be safe. Bye.